Hello everybody, I am the Wolf Spirit and today's video is about how I stopped watching Sargon of Akkad's videos. Let me start out by saying that this is by no means meant as a personal attack, since I feel that that's not what my channel is about. I just felt that as someone who used to watch a lot of Sargon's videos, it might be interesting to cover what led me to stop watching. If you're a regular viewer of YouTube commentators, you've likely heard of the name Sargon of Akkad. As someone who started watching people like the Amazing Atheist years ago, it was easy to move on to other political speakers like Sargon. The Amazing Atheist even hosted several of his guest videos on his channel and joined him on the Drunken Peasants podcast. I wouldn't say they have a ton in common though, but their outlook on social justice issues and feminism seems to be largely similar. This is basically how I got in touch with Sargon's channel to begin with. So why am I making this video, you might ask? The answer is quite simple to me. Sargon's content has been steadily moving more and more towards the right side of the political spectrum as he went along. I think this is something that everyone familiar with his content can agree on. However, he at least used to label himself a classical liberal or left of center, and this is where it gets messy. I'd like to start out by mentioning that at the service, Sargon of Akkad is very well spoken. He knows what he wants to say and does this with a lot of elegance. And that is exactly what makes his content so misleading to those who are unaffiliated and are just looking to get the latest political news from the mouth of somebody who is seemingly not afraid to tell the truth. I'd like to take a more critical look at how Carl, aka Sargon of Akkad, presents himself on YouTube and in public. One thing I enjoyed in his early works was that he seemed to try and mind his language whenever he could. Even during his rather heated debate with fellow YouTuber Destiny, he refrained from using slurs other than occasionally calling him a dummy. I consider this to be a likable trait, and it makes it easier to take people serious when they don't feel the need to curse like a drunken sailor. This is also something that rather annoyed me about the Amazing Atheist stuff. I don't think TJ is a dumb guy at all, but it makes it harder for me to take him seriously when he drops F-bombs every 2 seconds. It might sound cool and tough in your head, but in reality it just comes across as childish to me.
Fuck you! It's not bad manners to not be able to fucking, be the most, not everyone is fucking eloquent, okay? Some people are just like, sometimes, that's just how they are. Some people are fucking stupid, and some people are fucking brilliant orators. It's not bad manners to not be blessed with the gift of oratory, so fuck off with that shit.
This sort of restraint is all but absent from Carl's more recent work though. The word autist gets thrown around with abandon, as are slurs such as spurgs, in reference to people diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. Why is this problematic, and why can't I accept this as a harmless joke? Because using autism as a slur invalidates the people who are affected by it, and brushes them off as just weirdos. The way that the word autist is used by these people is similar to calling someone an idiot for disagreeing with you. In my opinion, that is not okay, no matter how many times people say that it's just a joke. Nowhere does this attitude get highlighted more clearly than in his video called Feminist for Autism, where he uses the label of autism, a mental disorder that affects actual people around the globe, to smear feminists just because he doesn't like them, I guess. It seems to be his way of doing a gotcha at the end of this video, but it just comes across as petty and needlessly insulting.
So, what symptoms or behaviours do autistic people display? There are 8 major signs of autism that you can identify in your friends, your family, your colleagues, your co-workers, perhaps even your business or your organisation, or even a social movement you happen to identify with. The first is an extreme sensitivity to criticism. If you feel that a differing opinion makes you want to block that person, and everyone who has ever spoken to that person, possibly via use of a block bot on social media, you might have autism. The second one is that you have rigid thinking. You think things are right or they're wrong. You're a feminist or you're a sexist. If you use feminists, you use criteria. You have autism. No reason to easily stress things are right. Meltdowns, loss of control. In fact, I think feminists should do so much activism in raising awareness about autism that feminism and autism become synonymous. You can't talk about one without talking about the other. If you're a feminist and you're having a conversation with someone else about feminism, you are de facto raising awareness about autism.
What are we supposed to take from this besides, I think you might have autism and that's bad or funny? His list of so-called autistic symptoms are nothing more than hyperbole at best anyway, regardless of who wrote them. Let's not even mention the times he said, and I quote, "Here's another one for the gas chambers." I don't think I need to point out that Sargon doesn't like feminism much. It's pretty much the thing that got him started on YouTube alongside a large number of anti-SJW speakers. However, if you watched his recent debate with Richard Carrier at MIFCON, it becomes clear that Carl isn't very good at talking about anything else. The topic never really shifts beyond social justice warriors bad, thanks to his insistence on it being the core issue of our society, if not at least one of the core issues. While I genuinely think he used to tackle a larger range of subjects, nowadays he seems little more than a one-trick pony, and guessing by the frequent applause that he got at MIFCON, it seems to work in his favor. Another thing that Carl helped popularize on the internet, besides anti-feminism, is Kekistan, a meme that originated on 4chan, which was used primarily by people to mock political correctness in the West. Sargon has been credited as having popularized this meme a lot, and since then, the Kekistan flag and frog have been displayed by numerous right-wing people at protests and political events. Now, I know you can make the argument that Carl probably didn't want this meme to become associated with actual neo-Nazis, which it kind of is. The flag was even used by the far right at the now infamous Unite the Right rally in the US. However, when something you helped popularize has a strong association with far right sentiments, you have to ask yourself, what am I actually contributing to? Is it still just a harmless joke like it was probably intended? Or is it nowadays mostly used as a symbol by a certain group of right-wingers, sometimes even neo-Nazis? And what does that tell us about the nature of your content? Well, despite everything, I imagined at least one thing. I imagined that Carl would at least recognize the validity of the LGBT movement as a whole, and that he would never completely strawman the entire movement for the actions of a few. Would he? Oh. Though, interestingly, in this video he talks about a variety of political subjects, not necessarily LGBT related. I guess combining the term LGBT with an edgy title generates more clicks on average. It's also a fact that Carl announced his membership of the British political party UKIP. I'm sure they're a bunch of friendly chaps who would never seek to limit anyone's rights in any way. Oh.
Well, imagine my shock.
This brings us near the end of the video. I can think of numerous videos to bring up in regards to Sargon, but I would be here forever, and I think most of his more edgy expressions are probably going to be disregarded by him and his fans as just a joke. Regardless, I think I compressed the core of why I think his content has gone off the deep end, to the point where it becomes genuinely difficult to pin down what he actually believes and what is just supposed to be a witty retort. The same attitude can be found in his more recent live streams with feminists Christy Winters and Kevin Logan, and it makes it difficult to have a proper debate with him, as he seems to dodge questions a lot, or answers them with his own questions. That being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and follow me over on Twitter. Until next time.